The clinking of silverware and the low hum of conversation filled the small roadside diner just off Highway 12. It was a quiet Tuesday morning in Tennessee, and most customers were truckers, travelers, or regulars who came in for the cheap coffee and warm biscuits. Behind the counter stood Raina, a waitress in her mid-30s with tired eyes and deep scars running down the right side of her face and neck, scars that no makeup could hide. She wore her hair in a loose bun, the ends brushing the faded ink of a small tattoo just visible on her collarbone, 1st Recon Unit, 217. Most people didn't notice the tattoo. They were too busy staring at the scars. Raina moved with quiet grace, pouring coffee, delivering plates with a polite, "Here you go, hon," never lingering long enough to invite questions. She had learned not to expect kindness. The stares. The whispers. The rude jokes. They were all just part of the job now. That morning, a group of well-dressed young men came in, suits, loud voices, laughing too hard at things that weren't funny. One of them, probably in his late 20s, leaned back in his booth and nudged his friend when Raina came to take their order. "Damn," he muttered loud enough for half the diner to hear, "someone had a bad date with a fire." The others chuckled. Raina didn't flinch. She didn't roll her eyes. She just took their order, turned on her heel, and walked away. At the corner table sat an older man, alone. He wore a battered leather jacket and a weathered ball cap that read, "U.S. Marines, Retired." His name was Cal Whitaker, and he'd just been passing through, trying to find some peace in the silence of the open road. But when he saw the way those young men treated Raina, and then caught a glimpse of her tattoo as she bent to pick up a dropped napkin, his heart stopped. 217th Recon Unit. His unit. He hadn't seen anyone from that deployment in nearly a decade. He rose slowly, the stiffness of old injuries pulling at his knees, and approached the counter where Raina stood. "Excuse me, miss," he said gently, "do you mind if I ask where you got that tattoo?" Raina turned, surprised, then guarded. "Why?" Cal took off his hat and pointed to the same tattoo inked on his forearm, faded with age but unmistakable. "Because I wore that same mark in Mosul, 2008. Her eyes softened. Her breath caught. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. For a long moment, she just stared at him, searching his face as if trying to recognize a ghost. "Sergeant Whitaker," she finally whispered. He blinked. "Private Dawson." And just like that, the years melted away. He remembered the explosion. The burning convoy. He remembered dragging a barely breathing young woman out of the fire, her skin shredded, her cries echoing through the smoke. "I thought you didn't make it," he said, his voice cracking. "I almost didn't," she replied. "4 surgeries. A year of rehab. Lost count of the nights I wished I hadn't come back at all." The young men in the booth had gone quiet now, watching. One of them glanced uncomfortably at the others. Cal nodded slowly. "But you did come back. You made it. And you've been standing on your own 2 feet ever since." Raina gave a small smile, tears building in her eyes. "Some days better than others." He turned toward the diner and raised his voice, not angrily, but firmly. "Hey, boys." The suits flinched. "Why you owe this woman an apology. She's a hero. I saw her fight like hell to stay alive in a place none of you could survive 5 minutes." No one spoke. One of the men, perhaps the ringleader, stood awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. I'm sorry, ma'am. We didn't know." "That's the thing about scars," Raina said quietly. "You're not supposed to know the story behind them. But that doesn't mean you get to mock it." Cal patted her shoulder. "You don't owe anyone an explanation. But I'm damn proud to stand beside you." Word traveled fast in small towns. The diner's regulars started treating Raina differently after that day. Kinder smiles. Bigger tips. One elderly woman even started bringing her fresh cornbread every Thursday. The young men never returned, but their shame did its work. And Cal? He came back every week for coffee. They'd sit at the counter, talk about the old days, and laugh about things that once seemed impossible to survive. One morning, he brought her a framed shadow box. Inside was a unit patch, a photo of their team, and a small plaque that read, "She fought with fire, and still chose kindness." You never know the battles someone has fought. Kindness costs nothing.